I got a buddy of mine. He's also just turned 51, and we went to a Tool concert a couple nights ago, and we're talking on the way down there, and I'm like, "Hey man, like, how you doing? And what's going on?" He's like, my whole life has just really changed in the last 2 years. And he lost two close friends, one from a brain cancer and the other from a different type of cancer. And these were both guys in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it shows me that life is short, and you got to just really, you got to act on life to make you happy, and pursue happiness and whatever that is. And for him, it was, I want a simpler life. Like, he was like, I want to unplug. I'm going to just embrace my family. And he said he completely lacked that perspective until he was faced with death. He was faced with something personal. So to your point, I think by acknowledging these horrific acts and by acknowledging the fragile state of life, you can actually spark yourself into living a better life. And, like, I had a choice. Like, Glenn dying, I could have rolled over and just started crying. And I didn't feel that. I felt, I got to get up and do something. I got to do something about this. And I think grief is different for everyone, and not just grief, but the idea of death and dying. And it's how do you interpret that, and then, process it here and up here, and then act on it and make that part of your commitment to living your best life, whatever that is.
Yeah. And I think that's well said. The grief is the short term. The perspective is the long term. And I guess, you'd go nuts if you just looked at pictures of people who got murdered every single day. But when you're talking about, I want it to be, because perspective is everything. I just did a tweet today talking about in business. For me, I come from a very humble background, and so perspective. No matter how hard things get, man, I stole food when I was a kid, but no matter how hard things get, I'm alive, and I'm here having a conversation with Sean about his buddy Glenn, but Glenn's not here, right? And and so I think that it I don't know, we devalue it by just saying, well, that's politics, because it's not. And I don't know if there's a good answer for how to do this in a way that accurately pays homage to those people. But 4 fucking people died at Benghazi. It wasn't a political mishap. There's dead people. There's brothers and sisters and fathers and aunts and uncles and a whole litany of people that are affected by it. And we just kind of play it off as, actually, what more could I do, as she screamed and yelled and pounded on a table.